I want to talk to you today about how to calculate Baker's percent. It's an easy and accurate way used in industry to check our formulas, to compare formulas, change batch sizes, and also to create new formulas, something that you'll want to be able to do. Let's get started working through some examples. The most important thing to remember is that flour is always going to be 100%. All of the other ingredients, your water, your yeast, etc., are expressed as percentages of your flour. Really, they're just a ratio compared to the flour. So, how do we do this? Here's our flour, 877 grams. Our water, 596 grams. So, if we take our water and we divide it by our flour weight, we're going to end up with 68%. So, in other words, 596 grams divided by 877 grams is 0.68 or 68%. So, let's give a try to a whole formula. So, let's try this example. Now, we've already said that flour has to be 100%. So that's where you're always going to start whenever you're trying to calculate Baker's percent. We've got the weight of our flour here, 1,255 grams. How are we going to calculate the percentages for our water, etc.? So 815 grams divided by our flour, 1,255. That's going to give us a figure of 0.649. So let's call that 65%. We want to calculate our percentage of our yeast. So it's going to be 13 grams divided by 1,255 grams. That is the weight of the flour. So that comes out to 0.010. We're going to call that 1%. Now, how are we going to do the salt? Same thing, 25 grams divided by weight of the flour, 1,255 grams. And that is going to give us a figure 0.0199. So let's call that 2%. Oops, sorry guys, I just stuck that in the wrong column. Let me take that out for us. So the salt, as I said, it's going to be 0.0199. So we're going to call that 2%. When we want to do our malt powder, 7 grams divided by 1,255 grams. Again, that gives us our figure of 0.0056. So what are we going to call that? Let's call that 0.6%. Important to remember, we want to add up all of these percents, because when you add up all of those percentages, it makes it a lot easier when we want to change our batch size. That's something that you're going to want to do. Your formula may make, say, 10 baguettes, and what happens if you've got an order for 15 or 25 loaves? So add up all of your Baker's percent, 100 plus 65 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0.6, and that's going to give us a total of 168.6%. Then we're going to move on to add up the weight of all of our ingredients, because you need to know what your actual yield is going to be on your formula. So we add these all up, and our total ingredient weight is going to be 2,115 grams. So let's sort of up the ante a little bit. What happens if we've got a bread recipe that has more than one type of flour? This recipe's got both strong flour and whole wheat flour. Well, we have said that we're dividing by the total flour weight. So what we have to do is treat the strong flour and the whole wheat flour added together as 100%. We're going to express each of these individual flours, the strong flour and the whole wheat flour, as components of. So we're going to take our 855 grams and we're going to add our 400 grams. Our total flour weight is going to be 1,255 grams. So every individual ingredient has to be divided by this total flour weight. Let's get started. We're going to take our strong baker's flour, 855 grams, divided by 1,255, and that's going to give us a percentage of 68%. The actual mathematical answer is 0.681, but we're going to call it 68%. Now we're going to divide our whole wheat flour, the 400 grams, by the whole total flour weight, 1,255. And that's going to give us a percentage of whole wheat flour of 32%. We've got a figure of 0.318 that we come up to. Okay, so what about our water? Now this is more familiar territory. We've got 815 grams of water divided by total flour weight, 1,255, and that comes to a figure of 0.649, so we're going to call that 65%. Same thing with our yeast, 13 grams of yeast divided by our total flour weight, 1,255. That gives us a figure of 0.010, or we'll just say 1%. Put my percent symbol in there. The salt, 25 grams. Again, what do we divided by? The total flour weight, 1,255 grams. So our salt is going to be 0.0199. Let's call that 2%. Malt powder, 7 grams, divided by total flour weight, 1,255 grams. That's going to give us a figure of 0.0056. We can call that 0.6%. Add up our totals, because we'll need that when we want to do some conversions. 168.6, and we want to add up our total ingredient weights. So that is 2,115 grams. This is good to know because maybe you're going to be making 500-gram loaves. If you don't know what the whole batch makes, how do you know how many loaves you're going to get out of it? And that is how you calculate basic baker's percent.